the other thing that I told you we could talk about today, or would talk about, I'm doing my annual legislators in school, and that's simply a program sponsored by the National Conference of State Legislators. Excuse me, Gary. And several years ago, there was a survey done that among school children, and a large percentage of school children that they interviewed had never met an elected official. Now, here in rural Kentucky, I know that's not true with magistrates and mayors and city council members and fiscal courts and all that, state representatives, state senators, that kids have met elected officials. But the survey said that a lot of kids have never met elected officials. So National Conference of State Legislators came up with this program for legislators to go to school and talk to the students and I primarily go to the 5th grade. When I was a state representative, I went to every school. But as a senator, I physically can't go to every school in my district. There's 24 elementary schools in my district now, and that's a pretty good undertaking to go to all 24 5th grades in my district, and I do that. And it's a great experience for me. I know I learned something. I've learned a lot about schools, and just being in the facility means a lot to me, to be able to see what's going on and see how the children are learning, and there is a difference between schools, and just to see that every school has its own character, and it's good to see that. So I go to all 24 of my schools and talk to them about our form of government, and I tell the kids about the title of it is representative democracy, but that's kind of a play on words, because in America we're not a democracy, we are a republic. And sometimes they say, no, that's not right, we're a democracy. And I had to give them this little test. I tell them to say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands. So, we are a republic, and what happens in a republic, the difference between a republic and a true democracy, is we elect people to represent us, to vote for us on issues that go on in either the city, county, state, or federal level. And we hire these people. These people work for us. I work for my constituents, and I try to get that point across to them, and how important voting is when you're hiring somebody to work for you, how important that is, and the other part of it is participating in the process, and I talk to them about 5th graders write me letters all the time, and in fact 5th graders have changed my mind on how I vote on legislation, and I tell them that story. So. It's just a very good program, and I'm proud to participate in it. Typically, when I go to Nelson County to do the schools in Nelson County, Representative Floyd joins me, and he and I kind of do a tag team. I talk for a few minutes, and he talks for a few minutes, and makes for a very good program. And here in Marion County, generally, Representative Mills and myself, we do separate programs. But it's a great program, and great opportunity to talk to our kids about the importance of voting and participating in the process. And and they're in the 5th grade. They're generally 10, 11 years old. It's not that many years down the road when they will be voting. So
the opportunity.
It's important that they understand at an early age. And I tell them that my generation, your generation, we've done a very poor job of voting. We suffer from what we call voter apathy. We think that our vote doesn't count. And I explained to them about a sheriff's race in Pulaski County several years ago, where at the end of the day, 2 men running for sheriff were tied. They had the same number of votes. They counted them again. Same number of votes. They counted them again. Same number of votes.
Wow.
Both men went to the county clerk's office and looked at the register where you sign in to vote. Both of them had family members that didn't go vote. friends and neighbors and colleagues at work and people they went to church with, all kinds of people they knew didn't bother to go vote.
And it could have made a difference.
And all they had to do was one more person go vote. And I asked the kids, I said, do you know how they decided that election?
Coin toss.
They tossed a coin. What a terrible way to lose an election.
Yeah.
Is through
Luck.
a coin toss.
Yeah.
So every vote counts, Gary, and it's not unusual, especially these local elections and state races to where a matter of 3 or 4 votes makes a difference on the outcome of the election.
Absolutely.
So every vote counts. It is important that we go vote. So.
And you'll have that opportunity November the 4th, Tuesday. It's General Election Day. Or if you're not going to be able to do it that particular day, you still have many other options through the absentee balloting process. And you can talk to your county clerk to get all the details.
Yeah. Thank you, Gary, for allowing me to be here today. And
Absolutely.
thank you to Channel 6 because it is an important election. It is important that we exercise that right that we have here in America. Many brave men and women have given their lives to make sure that we have that right to vote. So please go vote on November the 4th.
Great. Again, I've been here with State Senator Jimmy Higdon. General Election Day is Tuesday, November the 4th, and be sure to vote. It's been Gary White for Central Kentucky Television.